I'm sufficiently new in the chamber to still be aghast at the arrogant, contemptuous and self-serving content of the speech given by the Minister. I would have thought at this stage a little humility and hands-up acknowledgement of the mistakes made and the debacle that was Irish Water, that has been clearly outlined by various deputies today, and in particular by Deputy Smith, who outlined the money that has gone down into the ground. That's number one. Number two, I have to say I'm bemused, if it wasn't so serious, at Deputy Martin coming in and saying that he sought this debate today. And while I'm particularly fond of some of the Fianna Fáil TDs and one or two of my colleagues, I have to say I find that they are in Irish a conch as mar taig an dá híomh. And so the last speaker from Fianna Fáil has said that in principle he's not against water charges, and Deputy Chambers has said she's willing to look at all options. Well, you can't have it every way, and what we have today is a solution that really beggars belief. We're going to have what is the equivalent of a water birth in 9 months' time. And if 9 months we have a pregnancy and then a water birth, and we'll see what child will emerge. A changed Irish Water, a new Irish Water, but still an Irish Water. And it seems to me we're missing the point completely, and it has been outlined by other deputies today, that the people of Ireland have spoken. And I take particular exception to the way the Minister denigrates anybody who wishes to speak out or articulate a different vision. And we are not negative. And if they were seriously interested, as we were in Galway City, they would have looked at our example down there at Cahirley, where we led the whole campaign on recycling. And despite all advice from engineers, we reached a 70% recycling rate in diversion from landfill. And with the introduction of charges, which were championed unfortunately by the Green Party, charges were brought in and the people were punished, and then the service was privatised. And that was exactly what was on the cards for Irish Water and is still on the cards for Irish Water. And that follows a model where we demonise people and we say we have to punish them. And indeed, Deputy Sapone has talked about an education programme. Well, I would think that that education programme has to start with us here in the Dáil, where I don't see a single sign for conservation. In the toilets, I don't see a single mechanism for conservation of water. And that education programme has to start with us in the first instance, and then into the service sector. And I'm staying in a hotel for this period of time. I don't see a single sign for conservation or anything like it, nor do I see a grant given to any ordinary person for conservation of water. And so that tells me that they're not serious at all about conserving water. And again, coming from a background of 16 years in the local authority, where I've seen the local authority starved of funds in the first instance and in the second instance starved of staff, I take exception to the fact that we didn't do our job. Yes, we did. We had cryptosporidium in Galway City, and unfortunately I suffered from that myself. And why was that? Because a risk assessment was carried out and it was never made known to the councillors, and no funding was made available until people got sick. We knew what the problems were. We identified the problems. As I speak, the people of Carrow, 7,000 people, cannot drink their water and will not be able to drink their water till the end of this year. And Irish Water will be in the courts in May of this year by the EPA. This is the utility that we've entrusted our waters to, and it's been taken to court, not just because of Carrow, but because of their failure in other places. I would like to work with whatever government comes into power, because I think it's vitally important that we conserve water. But we do that in a positive way, and we work with the people and we show example. And we don't go forward with this divide and conquer. And unfortunately, again, I've heard deputies from Fianna Fáil talk about people who've Crohn's disease. Are we actually going to go down the route of dividing and conquering people dependent on their disability or non-disability? Are we going to finally realise that a civilised society must have basic services for which we must pay through our taxation? And those basic services are housing, health, public transport, water. Yes, we must pay for them. We are paying for them. And again, the Minister was contemptuous in saying we're not paying for them. He's asking us to pay on the double. I happily support the motion, and it should be put to the floor to get rid of Irish Water. I'll finish with the charges and have a referendum.